Climate change is real and present situation affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well as the rest of the world, which must be tackled head-on. That's the view of Senior Forestry Officer Cornelius Richards as he spoke with SVG-TV News on the effects of climate change on the forests of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Richards pointed out that nationally there has been a shift in climatic patterns which is seen in the variation of season, thus bringing with it adverse effect on the environment. The forestry officer added that climate change is attributed to a change in intensity and frequency of hurricanes as well as the development of climatic events such as the trough system of 2013, which was disastrous to many Vincentians, as well as plant and animal life in the forests.
Hurricanes have been having some effect on our forests. Let me first say, the winds in themselves are detrimental. We've seen trees and forests substantially damaged as a result of these winds. We've had significant damage in our upper watersheds. We've noted damage to our wildlife habitat, wildlife species, dislocation of species and so on. And even more beyond the hurricane, we've observed a number of agroclimatological events such as the recent trough system in 2011 that affected the Georgetown watershed, and in 2013 that December 24th situation that claimed so many lives here in St. Vincent. These are all, it is being suggested that these are all part of the shift in our climate that we're observing.
Richard stated that while small island states like St. Vincent and the Grenadines are not major contributors to the cause of climate change, they are most at risk and must develop programs which will allow inhabitants to live with climate change while it is being resolved. He pointed out that his department is working on a number of initiatives to combat the effects of climate change on the environment.
What my department is considering at this time is to table to the government and to the wider international community a major project that would seek to address a number of these issues that that challenge us in the upper watersheds. For example, areas that have been deforested as a result of hurricanes and other trough systems, the question of wildlife habitats that have been affected, our water courseways to maintain the integrity of our rivers so that they can continue to provide clean, clear water for hydroelectricity, for irrigation, for potable drinking water, etc., 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 and to ensure that we maintain good upper watersheds so that the end result downstream can be favorable where fisheries and tourism and so on is concerned.
The forestry officer further noted that they have seen notable changes in the vegetation in the leeward side of the island and considers this a cause for concern.
The extent to which we are concerned about the changes in our vegetation. This southern part of the island, when we first came to the forestry department here 30 years ago, 25 years ago, it was basically very lush, green, dry forest. Now it's all predominated by grasses. And as a result, there's the annual setting of fires to these hillsides. Surprisingly, they have not burned for the year so far. We're keeping our fingers crossed that that by some miracle they would not be burned this year. But these are some of for persons who drive on the leeward side, you can see the change in our vegetation that is taking place.
As the St. Vincent and the Grenadines 9 Mornings Committee prepares for the festival's 18th anniversary, efforts are being made to ensure that the unique tradition remains and continues to grow as a #1 national festival here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Speaking at a meeting earlier today at the Peace Memorial Hall, Chairman of the National 9 Mornings Committee, Michael Peters, said through the combined efforts of various community groups, sponsors, and the festival organizing committee, the festival has grown over the years, gaining recognition both regionally and internationally.
Back in 1999, when we began, Lennox Bowman, Bassi Alexander, Joel Providence, and myself, we had some challenges. We had to take what essentially was an activity that was almost dead and turn it into a festivity. We also had to take a tradition, a unique tradition as it was, and make it into a major attraction. 18 years later, we are at that point where 9 Mornings is, without a doubt, our principal festival attraction in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This morning, we will review 2015. We will hear from every one of you in terms of where you are, what your challenges are. But more importantly, we would hear your ideas and suggestions to keep 9 Mornings as the #1 festival.
Noting that there is an increase of visitors to the country during the Christmas season, Peters said the festival and all its activities must be evaluated so that it can evolve. He further added that with the reality of the Argyle International Airport, which is set to open this year, there is a need to develop activities so that more visitors will gain interest and want to come here to partake in the festival.
The theme for this morning is very simple: making the 2016 festival the best ever. You know that 9 Mornings and the Christmas festivities has moved from being behind Easter and Carnival to be in front of them by some distance, as the figures show. Over 1,000 more visitors come to St. Vincent during the month of December than any other month in the year. So part of this meeting is preparing for the larger influx of visitors that we expect. And we know that second and third generation Vincentians, they are always excited about the experience that their parents would have taught them and talked about 9 Mornings. So this morning, that's why we're here. We are going to look at the festival critically, look at new ideas, share new ideas, and at the end of it, we are certain that we'll be well on our way to making sure that this year is a memorable one.
Meanwhile, Minister of Culture Cecil Sesmaki noted that there are positive indications which suggest that the 9 Mornings Festival of 2016 will be the biggest celebrations in SVG. Maki commended the participating committees for being a part of the festival, noting that it signifies their commitment to the development of the country.
So, I think we will surpass the 44 communities that participated in 2014, and with all of the anticipation and the hype relative to the opening of the Argyle International Airport, I think we will see more communities wanting to be on board. We have engaged you, the persons who are involved, to make sure that you are on board, that we're all on the same page going forward. And this can only come with continuing discussions. Then we have the reports by the organizing committee, and as I just indicated, they have already done so. Submitted to the ministry. The ministry will sit with the organizing committee and review it. And most importantly, that we come back together, as we are doing this morning, to discuss the plans and put together the plans for the activity the following year. And then after that, the process of review again, and we continue this cycle. So I'm happy to see that we are on the right track.
Giving a review of the 2015 festival, Deputy Chairman of the 9 Mornings Committee, Lennox Bowman, noted that while there are cultural values to be derived from the festival, one must realize the economical benefits of linking tourism to culture. He further thanked the volunteers, participating committees, as well as sponsors for their continued support in developing the festival.
Any organization, in any community, you are never going to get the support of everybody who you have on your little committee. At least you're not going to get it in equal strength. We recognize that. And we know sometimes it's just 2 or 3 or 4 persons, sometimes even 1 person pulling this thing together. But we thank you very, very much for that kind of effort and commitment. When we write the story of 9 Mornings, it is all of us who are going to play a role, whose names are going to be mentioned as really trying to build from the bottom up. The activity, in terms of its survival, will not survive without you. Equally, it cannot survive without our sponsors. And we've been working very hard in terms of trying to make sure that we get sponsorship. We have had to hit the pavement. We have had to try and really work with people, businesses that support, may not necessarily be supporting the Nine Mountains Committee itself directly, but certainly you in your areas.
The youths of this country will be given the opportunity next week to learn more about their Garifuna heritage in a fun environment with the hosting of the National Schools Garifuna Folk Festival and History Expo to be held on Friday at the Victoria Park. Speaking to SVG-TV News about the festival, which is in its second year, representative of the Garifuna Heritage Foundation and officer within the Ministry of Culture, Maxine Brown, says that it is important to foster a love for Vincentian culture as well as the need to preserve it among the young people, since the culture and details of the history of the country must be understood and treasured to ensure it has the stories and tradition lives on. She said that the festival is a medium in achieving this while adding to or contributing to the enhancement of the National Heroes Day celebrations.
This program will incorporate all the arts, all aspects of the arts. There'll be dancing, there'll be singing, there'll be spoken word, be it choral speech, theatre, storytelling. We'll be engaging all forms of the arts at the Victoria Park. At the Victoria Park in these cultural activities. Now, earlier I mentioned the merger, and the Ministry of Education, we decided to have two-in-one. So there's the cultural aspect, and also we'll be having an exhibition of our heroes, or people who have made a significant impact through the arts and culture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So children will involve in the arts, plus in the historical aspects of our culture.
Brown notes that the festival will be catering to all primary and secondary schools across the country, with incentives being offered to keep students motivated as well as the audience. She further urges all Vincentians to attend the event, adding that it is a time to embrace the Garifuna heritage.
5 prizes, or let's say awards, because it's not a competition. There'll be a prize or an award for best dance. There'll be an award for best choral speech. Also, there'll be one for best song, best folk song, because it's very folkloric in nature. We believe that our students will come out with our colors. Let's represent. And so there's an award for best use of Garifuna colors, and these colors are yellow, black, and white. And because we want the students in the Garifuna areas to be involved, there's a special prizes or an award, as I reiterate, for those schools beyond the Dry River. So there's Ovia, there's Fancy, there's Sandy Bay, and we keep with the Leeward side, Petit Bodel, and those areas, Rose Hall. So we want the Garifuna areas to be involved, and so there's a special prize in store for you. So we want all those schools, we invite the parents to come out, the local community, come and learn about your history.
An art exhibit, Team Inside Out, took place yesterday at a cigarette factory, featuring the creative artwork of 2 local artists, Jeremy Payne and Caroline Boop-Sardine. Jeremy Payne spoke to SVG-TV News on the objective of the exhibition, stating that it was the idea of Alexandra Grant to display their talent and give some inspiration to locals.
The idea of the show was the brainchild of the creator, Alexandra Grant, and it's really a joint show between myself and my great mentor, Caroline Sardine, and so it's just the work of us two. Well, we are quite aware that the work isn't typically what you'll see here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which made like all the more reason to do this type of show. We hope, like after today, that people could go away thinking more, being visually stimulated.
Payne shed some light on life as an artist in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also shared some advice to young Vincentian artists, urging them to work hard to gain success.
Important to keep working, no matter what medium you're working in, whether it be painting or sculpting or just drawing. It's really important to like keep working, do research, and just to like keep practicing, really.
Speaking about his fellow partner and mentor, Carolyn Sardine, Payne outlined some of her accomplishments as an artist and her passion that inspires him and many others.
Been doing it for over a decade, definitely, because she would have studied in Barbados, then moved on to Jamaica, and then to finish her master's in England. So she's pretty accomplished, and that helps me too, because it just makes her like a great mentor for me, to somebody to look up to. She's very, like myself, very emotional about the work, very sensitive, and I think that's why we connect so well. And the work is really a reflection of her feelings, and it's truly an avenue for expression, like all great art. And for Caroline, she works a lot in painting and assemblage and collage and sculpting. One of the reasons why we're so anxious about doing this show, because it really is us putting our souls out for interpretation by the public.